Firefighters in Greece say they're doing what is humanly possible to contain raging wildfires. But the situation on the country's second largest island, Evia, is still far from under control. Locals are being joined by firefighters from across Europe to try to tame the blaze. People there are now also criticizing their own government, saying they could have done more to stop the destruction.
It's all hands on deck on the Greek island of Evia. More than 1,000 firefighters from Greece and abroad are working tirelessly to contain the flames that have devoured much of the northern part of the island. Helicopters from Serbia, Switzerland and Egypt are providing support from above. These helpers arrived from Slovakia to assist on the ground.
It's a huge fire. It's not easy to get it under control. We are doing our best.
Strong winds, extreme heat and drought have been fueling the blazes for over a week now. Satellite images show the extent of the fires, which have left a huge burn mark on almost the entire north of the island. Over 2,000 residents had to leave their homes. Several villages have burned to the ground. Everything burnt, our dreams are devastated, and there is no end in sight. Anger among residents is growing, with many accusing the state of doing nothing. The Deputy Civil Protection Minister, Nikos Hadalias, has defended the government's actions. The way we operated saved human lives. It saved human lives. The government promised relief measures to those who have lost homes and property. But that hasn't stopped some residents on Evia from disobeying evacuation orders. They fear losing their entire livelihoods. The police came, they told us to evacuate the village, but we cannot evacuate because this is our property, and we have the impression that if we leave, our homes will be burned. While the fight against the flames continues on the island, more help from abroad is on its way.
Well, let's go straight to DW's Barbara Vazel, who's on the Greek island of Evia. Barbara, good to see you. What is the situation where you are?
The situation here is partly under control. However, overnight in the interior of the island, fires flared up again, and that is what experts had said in advance. The forest floor is so hot, and there's so many tree trunks left in there smoldering, and they will be sort of burning for days and days on end, that just one little wind brings the fires back up and brings them to flare back up. So the foreign firefighters who have arrived here in the meantime still have their work cut out. They still have to go inside up on those steep hills and put out fires again, and this will be carrying on for days. It will be quite a while, maybe another week, till the fires on this island have really burnt themselves out.
International assistance has now arrived, but does this help come too late?
It has come late, of course. We met a huge contingent of Polish firefighters last night who had just arrived here on the island, and they said it's 2,000 kilometers. We drove for 3 days, and we left Poland immediately after the request for help had come in. We couldn't do it any faster. So if you want to point a finger, you have to point a finger at Athens, where probably out of national pride or whatever ideas, the request for emergency help had been sent off too late. But still, these people still, of course, have a lot of work to do here. But it is one of the points where they could have been tremendously helpful had they been there even 2 or 3 days earlier. We're here at a spot where you can see that the fires on the island here have raced from one side, from the sea, to the other. You see all these burned trees here, and people congregated up, down by the water, and were eventually saved from the water lines here 2 nights ago. So it is a scene of devastation everywhere.
People on the island are pointing their fingers at Athens as well. They're very angry. What are their main grievances?
They are furious to whomever you talk here. And when you say, what did the government do? How did the firefighting efforts go? They just look at you and say they did nothing for us. They left us completely alone. In the village here, that is a bit back off this scarred spot where we're standing, people are saying the firefight, on the first night when it was burning, the firefighters came. They looked at the scene. They said, we can't do anything, and left again. So people were left to their own devices, fighting the fire with garden hoses and hoes and shovels and trying to help themselves as well as they could. So there is tremendous anger. And this is going to cost the government in Athens dearly, because everybody has this very strong feeling and suspicion that there were no plans. Evacuations went well, but there were no plans to really professionally fight these fires. And people have lost their livelihoods now, and they're waiting for compensation and aren't sure whether that will ever arrive.
DW's Barbara Vesel on the Greek island of Evia. Thank you very much.